are today at the Battle of Lewes, celebrating a day or a weekend of spirituality and sunshine. Solar flares like never before happening over the last 24 hours and going forward. I don't know if any of you saw the sky last night, but it was supposed to be like northern lights. Did anybody see it? Yeah, amazing. We were all in bed early getting ready for today, but yeah, just crazy.
Travel far usually to go and see that.
And
In the hope that they will, and sometimes they never do. And we just had it.
You book it in advance sometimes 2 years to go
Yeah.
to Iceland.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I was listening to our
Gifted.
Pam Gregory, and she was saying there's never, in 2018, there wasn't a single one, and we've already had 13 in the last few days. Now, what we can look for those kind of things is like an upgrade, like a spiritual upgrade, because it's more light coming in and it's solar light, so it's yang energy, so it's like male kind of, embrace your power is the message. And this is the kind of area of the body which we think of as solar, because it's our kind of our energy center, our sense of ego and self. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm Claire the Oily Witch. Thank you for joining us this weekend. My work is around using astrology, which is why I mentioned that, as my language to open up to spirit. We, all of us healers, have our own languages, and they're literally accessing, I would say, wouldn't you agree, the same thing? It's just different routes. I know you use astrology as well, Emma, in your family constellations. So yeah. And that's what spirituality is about. It's about finding your own way to connect with yourself, that part of yourself, which certainly in this country for the last 2,000 years has not been allowed. There's been a very narrow kind of availability of spirituality under the form of the Christian church, and it's been that option or not really much else. And that hasn't really empowered women, and it's certainly put us into a lot of dark spaces and places. And I would argue that that's one of the main reasons we've got so many mental health issues in our country, is the fact that people are missing this salient part of their own power, of their own self, and they've kind of been brought up to doubt it, which is why when we connect with it, we will start conversations to people going, you'll think I'm mad, but, this sounds crazy, but, and it's like, even the language we're using is putting down our own ability. So my work is all about a reclaim. So as well as being an astrologer, I teach witchcraft, and I really kind of feel that my purpose here on earth is to draw people back into themselves and say, look, you are the you in verse, you are everything, you don't need anything else. But again, our culture has given us messages from generally capitalist perspective of, can't you look outside for validation, this is going to make you feel better, this other person is responsible for your happiness and everything that you need. And actually it's all internal. We are responsible for our happiness, and our whole kind of raison d'etre is to feel good about ourselves. So everything I say is about, or I know is about, feelings, and feelings are generally things we ignore. We try and stay in our thoughts. Again, we're encouraged to do that. Feelings feel unsafe. They make us feel like if we indulge in them, we'll become completely ungrounded. But actually, our feelings are the measure about how well we're doing in life, because everything we want is generally about the feelings it's going to give us, whether that's a holiday, whether that's a car, whether that's a relationship. It's what are the feelings that engenders that we're actually chasing. And if we can find out what those feelings are and respond to them, then we don't need to keep looking outside for everything else. But that's hard. That's a huge cultural revolution. And in this age of Aquarius, that's what we're doing. We're having a cultural revolution. We're changing it around and saying, right, let's kind of find self-empowerment. Let's come back to ourselves. Let's kind of embrace that part of ourselves, which we know is there in greater or lesser extent. I think it's quite funny. I'm called Claire. Not least because I think everyone else in 1975 with red hair was also called Claire. There seemed to be a plethora of in my class. My parents had born and made in Hong Kong, so they were saying, well, there was no other Claires where they were, but I just don't believe that for a minute because there was far too many of them. But Claire means like light. And all of the senses, the psychic senses, clairaudience, clairalliance, clairgustance, clairvoyance, all of those are clairs, and it's like that sight. So I now feel like I'm an embodiment of my name. But it's only, it's in recent times that I've reclaimed that name. A lot of people call me Oily, not a name that I thought that I would ever want to grow up to be called, but that look, there's oily. And it's like, as I slither through the passageways. But oily, I guess, because as well as an astrologer, I'm an aromatherapist, and that just kind of came to me. And these things like aromatherapy, astrology, they were all forbidden, you know, especially aromatherapy and anything to do with herbs and kind of traditional folk medicine, because the fact that you could heal yourself was, you know, meant that you weren't dependent on the church to make you better and to the pharmaceutical industry to make you better. And that's just dangerous, because plants are free, and if you know what you're doing, then, you know, you're pretty much able to sort it all out. There's also an element, of course, with health that we know about our body health, and, you know, there'll be various people talking about that today, but there's an element of health around spirituality that has an aspect to health as well. And when you're denying that part of yourself and you're not looking after that part of yourself and keeping your aura clean and safe and strong, then also you can become unwell. And that's also what I'm about, is helping you to kind of recognize that part of yourself, respond to kind of intuitive feelings around that person really annoys me, not really sure why, or I've gone into this space, this room, and I don't feel good in here. Instead of thinking it's me, I should feel more confident. Why don't I feel good in this space? It's like, maybe there's something wrong with this space and not me, because we all look to ourselves and go, oh, well, it's me. I should be able to walk into this room and feel really good, or everyone else likes this person. Why do I think they're a bit of an asshole? And it's like, you know, because maybe there is some past life stuff going on there, or, you know, they're triggering a mirror in you, but it's basically having some respect for your own feelings and where you're coming from. So I make these things called aura sprays. I'm going to let you spray yourself, because I've sprayed one too many people in the eye with that stuff. But I use essential oils to keep safe. Just spray it all the way around your aura. Just go crazy. And what it does with essential oils is it basically, they work on 3 levels. They work on your spirit, so they kind of can clean the aura and protect it. They work on your physical body, because they go into your blood system at a rate of, it takes about 30 seconds for them to penetrate and go in. And they work on your emotional level as well, because when you, when you smell them, they're kind of going in a different way. So smelling them, feeling them, and sensing them, they have all these different, watch the dog. Yeah. And it lasts as well. So when we're talking about essential oils, we're talking about something that is kind of very recognized by the body. That's why they work so well. And around each and every one of those 37 billion cells in our body is a fatty substance, a lipophilic substance. And essential oils go through that with ease, whereas a lot of pharmaceutical industry can't, and it's known as monomolecular therapy. It has to stay on the surface, and that's because of the way they test medicine. They have to put it through so many rigorous tests that they can only afford to test one active constituent at a time, whereas an essential oil has hundreds, so it's just not viable, and then they can't patent the plant, so why would they do it? And then when we're unwell or we have imbalance inside the cells, if you just imagine there's all these little Alice in Wonderland door holes with keys in. When we get unwell and something gets out of balance, a key has fallen out or a couple of keys, and that makes us feel unwell, makes us feel low energy, something like that, right? Essential oils are magic in the fact that they will go in and recreate keys for the doorways that are missing them without harming anything else, and will not be used if they don't need to be used. The body can get rid of them with ease. So they are a very, very potent medicine, and they are just the plant's own immune system. So I make remedies out of essential oils, not just aura sprays, but creams, because I find that they are like thousands of times more potent than, say, if you use like a plant essence or something like that. Because if you're using plant essences, you've got the whole plant, or plant waters, rose water, things like that. Whereas this is literally immune stripped out, and that's what we want. We just want the plant medicine for repelling, repairing, healing, new word, repelling, and things like that. So that's really important. What I'm going to do now is just to bring you into this space. So if you can put your feet on the ground and uncross your bodies, uncross your hands, just kind of take some, everybody settled, take some breaths for me with your eyes closed, so that you're kind of cutting out other senses. well, the visual sense, and allowing yourself to kind of come into yourself and just start to kind of notice where you are and what you're feeling, the ground under your feet, feeling whether the energy of the ground, whether you can even feel that, feeling the frisons of kind of yang energy. We're under a willow moon at the moment. This came in on Wednesday, and willow is a tree that is all about emotions and deep emotions, and willow is a healer to emotions. So you just keep listening to me with your eyes closed, that would be wonderful. So when we look at a willow tree, especially a weeping willow tree, we can go there for emotional processing, and that is the gift that willow is giving us, is this emotional kind of ability to ground our feelings and make sense of them, find some way to deal with them and process them. And willow tree is known for salicylic acid, which is the foundation of aspirin, and so that gets rid of headaches and thins the blood. And we think of willow as kind of thinning the emotions, because when emotions get trapped within the body, they become sticky and they kind of cause things to kind of get blocked. So if you think when you're under a willow tree, any willow tree, because there's lots of different types of them, and you put your back against the willow tree, or indeed your forehead against the willow tree, and lay your third eye on your heart, the tree will naturally rebalance. All trees will do this, but willow, we're talking about at the moment, will rebalance your life chi for free, because trees are completely the unsung kind of gateways, goddesses, gods of the natural world. And willow is the 5th tree in the Celtic Tree Moons, and number 5 is all about standing up for self. It's about the opportunity to defend your own principles. We've just been through Beltane, which is the fire festival. Beltane is a celebration of the kind of fecundity of earth, the male yang energy, the upward moving energy, and that's certainly what you might be able to sense beneath your feet now, is some of that kind of crackling, moving through energy. And I've talked about all these solar flares that we've had at the moment, and it's kind of like more and more upgrading to encourage you, just you, to move into your own personal place of power, because that is ultimately what we need to do. We need to come into our own power, take responsibility for ourselves and just ourselves, and that is enough. And believe me, with the kind of mess we're in, that is a lifetime of work. And by doing that, the effect we have on our energy frequency, because we're all like radios emitting a frequency, is we set our frequency to a much more harmonious one. And then if everybody does that, the vibration and frequency we're sending across the earth is much more powerful, much more healing, and much more about bringing in the light. But I will say, with light, as on earth, school health earth, there is duality. So there must always be shadow, and that's just the balance of how we learn in our culture. So as you breathe, you've heard my words, they have fallen where they need to fall. I want you just now to imagine you're bringing in a solar gold shroud across your energetic field. We're going to use the energy frequency of the sun to protect our auric fields, and our auric fields extend at least to 6 feet beyond us. Depending on how you are in your own power, that might be further, but making sure that you yourself are completely and utterly grounded. Bringing that in, and you just, if you haven't done this before, you just need to imagine it's there. That's all you need to do, and then it's there. That's how it works. It's nothing more complex than that. Once that's in place and you're feeling completely safe, we're going to take our focus down to our feet. And we're going to call in the power of the willow moon, and we are going to grow some beautiful, beautiful Andestorian sun roots out of the soles of our feet. And we're going to get those roots to travel down through the earth, down into the heart of the vibrancy of this time of year, and just find a place and space to wrap themselves and feel secure. This might be, depending on how fast your roots went down, all the way back through space and time to the cave of the ancestors, or the inception of your own ancestral line. It might just be a place, a huge crystal in the middle of the earth. Whatever you see it to be, it is. Just wrap them around there and make them really secure. And just feel that secureness through your body as you breathe, as you kind of, breathe in oxygen and just feel the body relaxing. Feeling stress and tension moving away, feeling from the crown all the way down that it just starts to feel really okay, and noticing any aches and pains in your body, noticing any tightness and using breath to release that, letting it go all the way down, sighing out any tensions that aren't welcome, and noticing with those aches and pains where they fall, so when you go and see the other people here today that can help you with those, you know where to direct them. So now we're going to bring the earth energy up. So bringing up some red, kind of rust red energy. It might also be green, brown energy up through the soles of those feet. Bringing them up through the ankles, the knees, up through the thighs, the hips, across the pelvic girdle, into the solar plexus. And then we reach the heart. And when we reach the heart really loves water and earth. So the fusion of the watery heart with the earth coming in beneath makes for a very fertile energy connection. I want you to imagine your heart blossoming and opening, getting really, really big within your auric field. It might help to put your hands over your heart, cross your hands over your chest, over your heart, or just hold it. Just imagine it, and just imagine this energy building from your heart center for gratitude within you, for turning up, for taking the time and space to be here, to be in this magical place, for all of us to be together and to feel love inspiring you, kind of flowing with ease through your auric field, opening you up, making you feel really, really, really good, really empowered. And your heart is going to be feeling so happy because you will lead with your emotions through these next 2 days. Trusting where you feel drawn, trusting to intuit what you hear, whether it fits, whether it suits. Everything that is meant to happen will happen because that is the way it goes and flows. Once that heart is open, let's bring our attention up to the throat, bringing up water and earth to the throat, opening that up, so that you can have a clear channel between your heart and your voice. So you will speak the words you need to speak over this weekend. You will be heard the way you need to hear yourself in order to give that message to others. Bring that earth up to the third eye, opening the third eye. This is how you see the veils between the worlds and also the truth, your intuition point. And then going to the crown and just giving your brain a beautiful, nourishing, blood red earth energy bath to really make the brain feel good. Relax that back brain where all the kind of fear sits, the primal kind of responses around fight or flight, just nourishing that, bringing in earth energy, grounding that, making it feel really, really, really safe. And you've got your aura around you, your gold protection, so nothing untoward is going to happen to you this weekend. Everything that happens to you is for your highest good. Trust that, feel that in the heart. Bringing that in. And now I want you to take your focus up to the crown of the head. And imagine this is unfolding, your skull, like a beautiful flower. Perhaps a lotus, perhaps a rose, whatever is your flower. Opening that up and then uncoiling the stamens or unfolding the stamens and sending a frequency, a message, an energy out through the sky, out through the galaxy, out to the world beyond the worlds, out to the highest point of your divinity, to where the rest of your soul resides, because you're not all here. A part of you chose to come here and have this human incarnation, but there is other parts of you, higher parts of you in this higher space that you can call upon. And that's what you're doing now. And by making that connection, you're raising your frequency so that you step into your highest version of you that is possible whilst incarnated in human form, to really guide you through this weekend and to bring in codes of healing, instinct, and just feeling that coming in, those codes, that light. You might feel wings coming out of your shoulder blades, sprouting. If you do feel wings, that's entirely normal. That just speaks to you being more angelic. You may not feel that at all. Just trust whatever comes in. You might be more earth than you are star. Again, perfect. You are perfect. You are everything you need to be. And that is enough. And now in those kind of higher frequencies, making sure that you are a mirror of so above and so below, completely and utterly in flow. Imagine the figure of 8 going around the energy fields you've created around you, standing on its side, the figure of 8, in fact, standing upright, infinity flow. Take some more breaths for me. Really bringing that in, anchoring in all of that knowledge, that wisdom, that healing, that vibration, making sure you're safe, secure. And when you're ready, opening your eyes and coming back into the space, you're attuned. Okay. Is everyone feeling good? Yeah, you're welcome. Has anybody got any questions they would like to ask me about any of that? Have I flummoxed you all? Okay, fantastic. Does anyone know what time it is?
10:38. to 11.
Okay, well, there's time now to sit here and just chill. Do what you need to do. This is a nice, dark and cool space. Those of you that have got tarot reading at 11, who's at 11? You. Come and find me, and yeah, just take your time, and if there are any questions you have for me throughout the day, you feel free to come and ask them. I am here for you. Okay? Blessed be.